Earlier on the news, we told you that parties and the candidates have signed a peace accord in Ondo State, looking at the gubernatorial election slated for November 16. And now to help us talk more about this and understand it better, I'm being joined by Franklin Oloniju, who is a political analyst. Thank you so much, Franklin, for joining us. Signing of peace accord in Nigeria has been described as an election ritual, even as we've seen parties and their candidates go on to sponsor electoral violence. Do you also align your thoughts with this?
Yes, I think it's a good idea to have parties sign peace accord because what it does is that it enables them to sign up to conduct that will promote peace before, during, and after the election, because it is also contingent on them to give that kind of ambience to the electoral process that shows that the peace is necessary for people to even turn out on election day to come and cast their votes. And so if that assurance is coming from the political gladiators, what it does is that it enables the citizen to have a confidence in the system, in the electoral system, and be able to cast their votes. Yes, in some cases you might find that some candidates will even refuse to sign a peace accord, but it turns on them because people understand that those kind of candidates cannot be trusted to drive the process. I mean, cannot be trusted with the electoral power for them to guide and nurture the process over a period of 4 years. So for me, I don't think it's a waste of time. I think it's something that should be encouraged and something that should be supported for candidates at all time to sign up to the concept of peace accord.
So beyond signing such accords, is there a way we can hold politicians or political figures accountable when after signing they go ahead to make statements or utterances or sponsor acts that spur violence during electoral process?
Well, there may not be a kind of punitive actions that are stated categorically, to hold them accountable, other than their integrity cannot be vouched for. But I think by and large, this document that they end up signing up to, over time, will act as a basis to judge them and will give impetus to the security agents to also hold them accountable.
But we've not seen that happen, Franklin. We've not seen that happen. We've seen these peace accords being signed in several states at the presidential level, at the gubernatorial, at the governorship level, and we see violence, play out, ballot box snatching, disruptions of elections. Aside probably apprehending one or two people, we've not seen any security operative or INEC itself come out to say that, okay, this particular person or this particular party sponsored it, we have apprehended them, we are going to deal with them after conducting an investigation. We've actually not seen that happen.
Well, the system is skewed in a way that makes it impossible for you to hold those at the top of that political ladder accountable for speeches. And over time, most times, you don't find those candidates really, really coming out to promote violence openly. Where they plan, those mischievous planning in terms of destruction of polling units, smashing of ballot boxes, are planned outside the public glare. And those that carry those activities out, or those instructions, are also political talks that they pay. That sometimes, when you look at the steps or the process of engaging them, cannot be traced directly to those candidates themselves.
So that would mean
when they capture political talk, what you can only get is maybe a middleman that is charged or provide resources to mobilize people to disrupt maybe an opponent strongholds. And so over time, we find that it's difficult to trace violence directly to those candidates. If you take the example in Edo, where there were rhetorics of, perceived, it wasn't even coming from the candidates. It was coming maybe either from the governor that was saying something around, I don't want to be quoted or something, but it was saying something that people thought were not really promoting peace. But they were not the candidates itself. It was not the candidates itself that was saying most of those things. So the process has been perfected by politicians to ensure that they will be held, rather through their proxies. They do all those things.
Well, of course, you would agree with me that elections in other countries, whether or not peace accords are signed, there have been electoral bodies that have stood up and security bodies or architecture that actually stood up to ensure that in some way or somehow it is peaceful. But then if you are going to bring the U.S. election into context, you see how it played out, early votes, real monitoring of vote counts, prompt announcement of results, the fact that we didn't even see some sort of violence during the course of the election, and there weren't delays, as it were. Why is it that Nigeria's electoral process cannot toe that path to ensure that the outcome actually reflects the will of the people without any form of violence, whether or not a peace accord is signed? Hello, Franklin.
So I couldn't get that question. Can you just...
Okay, sorry. So, I get the network glitch. So I said, if you're going to put the U.S. election in context, in terms of the early votes, the counting of votes, the monitoring of the ballots, the fact that there were no electoral violence of some sort recorded, the prompt announcements, no delays in announcements, in the outcome of results and all that. Why is it that Nigeria cannot toe that path in its electoral process from the beginning to the end, whether or not a peace accord is signed?
Well, you see, I think I will still say our democracy and our electoral process is still evolving. What we have seen over time in some little African countries, where you even find out that electoral officers go home with, even the ballot sensitive materials such as ballot papers, and bring them back to the polling units for people to. There are a lot of instances even across Africa where you have the process not really prone to violence. But I think we are not there yet, because election here is a do or die affair to a lot of people, because that is the only source of income for a lot of people, or changing their lifestyle. So it's still seen as a means to an end. But until the education and the maturity among both the electoral management bodies and the people themselves are improved, we may not be able to have those kind of situation where the process will just go smoothly from early ballot like we saw, early ballot voting like we saw in the US, to smoothless announcement of results. But as it is right now, the politicians themselves are the ones that are eating up the system, and they are not allowing people to, they are not the electoral process to go smoothly because of the huge resources they gain, from seizing power from the people. Okay. So until there's a reorientation of the populace and the political class, for them to work to understand that that the people themselves are the greatest voices that should be listened to within the political process. We won't get there. Okay. And so why the side piece accord is just sometimes cosmetic. They already know what they want to do. They already have their plan to disrupt the electoral process where it's not paying them, or to cause violence where they feel that, but what can we do? We just need to continue to do this until we get to a level where we will, not see election as a do or die affair, not see election as the end, but as a means to good governance. And people the politicians will understand that they are going to serve, not to go and steal, because you get political power, not oftentimes to provide good governance, but to enrich yourself.
All right,
and
Franklin.
Your homies. And that's why this is bad. Like this bad situation right now in Nigeria.
All right, Franklin Oloniju, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. We hope that we'll be able to get there acceleratedly at some time soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.